the sector. The Minister is here with me in studio to discuss this further and other issues. You wear different hats. First, I'm going to start with you as the Minister of Transport. You mentioned the bill that is currently before Parliament. Tell us how you're hoping this will change what we're facing in our transport sector.
This bill will, thank you very much and thank you for having us. This bill will bring a certainty with regard to transformation and also integration. And the first to be affected will be the port regulator. And it is a game changer in terms of transportation transformation in South Africa.
Tell us about Prasa. You didn't mince your words yesterday when you spoke about Prasa, its management and its board. You said they must do their job. You said they must get their house in order. How did that meeting go with those in the executive of Prasa?
Look, we have a plan at Prasa to turn it around. It's almost a year now. Our turnaround was affected by COVID lockdown, but we should have moved on a whole range of issues now. We've got issues in terms of, for instance, the locomotives, the general overhaul contracts that are supposed to be issued, the capex spending. We've got loads and loads of billions at Prasa. That are not being spent because there is no capacity. Now, I mean, really, that is where we should have started. We promised Parliament and everybody that we will build capacity. I met with Minister of Finance, new one. He asked me in our meeting at Prasa, I can assure you this year will end, you will not be able to spend that money. So, project modernization is at standstill. I'm not saying that we need miracles, that things will happen overnight, but honestly speaking, it is something else now. I mean, capacity is not there, a focused energy on doing things and turning around that place. I'm not saying that it will happen overnight. We need to get the corridors back and so on and build on that. But I'll be seeing the board very soon to get the feedback on a whole range of issues. So they'll be giving me a feedback very soon in terms of the movement forward before we rise.
And will they be giving you feedback on Zalani Matthews and the decision that was taken earlier this month on him?
Yeah, they will give me feedback on that as well, in terms of what is happening. And I don't want to comment on that.
On Zalani
because I've given them a job as a board to do their job. So if they deal with the CEO on the matters that I've read in the press, I don't want to interfere. Because tomorrow they are going to say that Minister, when we're doing our job, is interfering. The same as I told them, and I even called Professor Bonang Mohale, a very, very experienced executive in this country, to give us a lecture. And I organized a workshop on corporate governance, the role of the board and the group CEO. And I actually even raised issues with them that give the group CEO space to do his job. And I think they did that. And then I withdrew because I didn't want somebody tomorrow to say that he's been interfered with, he's got no support from the board. I think that's what the board did. And then we had a very good arrangement with the board where we're monitoring, among others, progress, getting feedback weekly. We need to push things to happen. If things are not happening, I can't give answers to the population. I can't give answers to the president. I've signed a contract with the president. I've signed a compact agreement with the board. And if they are not moving on the things that they are supposed to move, I need an explanation. If they need support from me on any of those issues, they need to tell me. Minister, we need support like they've done with autopacks. We are dealing with that, with Treasury and my department, on all of those issues. But certain issues which is in their purview, I need answers. Why are we not moving ahead? I mean, the year is over now. I mean, we need to get the trains back on track. We need to revamp the vandalized stations. We even suggested to them the concept of Netherlands. You know, Netherlands, they build stations with containers. Beautiful. There's no criminal that can steal a container. You build stations, quick, and then they're up, you know, and running. I mean, if you go to Netherlands, Holland, you will see that, what I'm talking about. We even suggested that to them. And some of my entities were ready to give them these containers. All what they needed to do within their own arrangement is to give companies with capabilities to implement this concept. And then by now, a lot of our stations in Tembisa, Soweto, that were vandalized, will be up and running. We don't need a sophisticated, complicated arrangement. We need something that can get us going, but durable. Because we know people are stealing cables. So what is your response to that? If people steal cables, dig deep underground for these cables to actually go underground, because if they are up here, they get stolen.
And security around that maybe also.
And the security, to arrange that, security. I did a lot of job on Prasa, security. I brought the police, I brought NDPP. They supported me. We've got people who are charged now with serious economic offenses, not theft. And some have been sentenced. Because I spoke to Advocate Patoi, I spoke to Kehlas Tole, Minister Fikile, Minister Lamula. Fikile brought the whole police force to the meeting. We developed a plan of implementation. Prasa is supposed to lead that plan and bring the cops and everybody. If they want soldiers, they must tell me. Then I can go to Minister of Soldiers and say, deploy soldiers on the railway line. But if you are sleeping on the job, you are not going to do those things. I spent my time there. And then I said, develop, a war room. Now, my sister, I mean, if people are not prepared to move, what do? Get others, you know, and so the board must give me a report that is convincing where are the bottlenecks. You know, there is a board member of Prasa. He never speaks a lot. I went there and then he said to me one time, Minister, this thing you just said here is not going to happen by December. And I never asked him, why do you say that? He doesn't speak a lot, but he said that to me. And then I just received a report from management that told me that certain things will be moving steadfastly and all of that. And then I said, employ people, move with speed, bring people on board who are capable with requisite skills. Employ them at Prasa, give them an opportunity so that we move as a... But we have to move, we've got no choice. Our people out there are crying for interventions, so we've got to deliver. There's no other way. Yeah.
So no delivery, Minister, you're saying heads will roll. No delivery to what you are saying should be happening at Prasa, there'll be heads that will roll.
I'm not saying heads will roll. There should be cogent reasons, and then the deadlines, why they are shifted.
Okay.
I can't make that call. The board can. I can't make that call. I can't dismiss anybody. But the board must exercise its fiduciary duties. It must support management. We must meet our deadlines that we have set. I've gone to Parliament. I went with them. I presented a corporate plan with strict deadlines that must be met. Now I hear that no, our turnaround strategy is extended to 30 years. That thing was never said to me. 30 years. I mean, really? So when we went to Parliament, we said that by this date, this will have happened. By this date, this will have happened. So what do you do as management? You go down. You fix people. Those who are not working, you kick them out. You put them, you hold them accountable.
Yeah.
You know, and then I will be coming to you here tomorrow and say that there is a sabotage. Speaking in tongues. No, I can't. There are strict timelines we have agreed to for implementation, and then I must get answers why those things are not met.
Minister, the taxi industry.
Yes.
The safety around there. Are you still speaking to the taxi bosses? Are they going to adhere to some of the advice that you're giving them? It's been a thorn on our side as South Africans for years.
We have a big announcements before we rise on the taxi industry.
Okay.
The eminent persons to intervene, formalization, working groups. I will also be making a big announcement around taxi relief before we rise. And then I will also be getting a report from the working groups on the taxi industry. We went to a taxi in Indaba. We've been working on formalization of the taxi industry. Issues of conflict resolution are matters that are before us. The eminent persons group is dealing with that, and which will bring a report to the minister. And then formalization of the taxi industry, subsidization of the taxi industry. These are exciting matters that we are dealing with because we need to take the industry out of informal economy to formal economy so as to boost economic growth. I mean, this is over 40 billion rand industry. So we will be making these announcements after we have met with the taxi industry before we rise.
Okay.
So it has been a lot of work in terms of taxi industry.
What's before we rise?
Before we rise, it means I'm speaking like I'm in Parliament now, before we go on holidays. So.
Okay, all right. All right, before we go on holiday. Minister, let me pick your brain very quickly. E-tolls, I know this is a very annoying subject for you, but when is this decision going to be made? 2010 was 11 years ago.
No, it's not annoying. It's my job. I like it when you ask me all the time.
Okay.
Because it's an important issue in terms of SANRAL stabilization. It's an important issue in terms of SANRAL balance sheet. We have been discussing this matter, and we took a resolution. We look at all options. When I met with Outer and COSATU, they made specific suggestions to me, and with their view that we must scrap. We've been discussing, obviously, also with our counterparts in Gauteng, who have also made a call for the scrapping. So I've said to them, just keep quiet a little bit and give me a chance to resolve this particular matter. And we had 9 options. And then we reduced them to 1. And then we are now interrogating if we scrap the implications, the financial model, our lending, borrowing status from the context of SANRAL, but also implications for the country. And that's where Treasury comes in. But also the funding model, because this is going to affect the user pay principle. The beautiful roads you see in Gauteng to address congestion and all of that, it is out of the user pay principle. Our people pay for those roads through the tolling system we have actually implemented. Now, with this challenge that we've got and the demand that we must scrap, and you guys withdrawing and doing what we call social disobedience and not paying, it meant that we're taking money from the fiscus that is meant for road maintenance and paying for e-tolls. That's what we're doing right now. And what is going to be the fate of our roads going forward if we withdraw the user pay? Government has already acceded to look at the issue of scrapping. That's what we're dealing with now. Okay. Minister of Finance said by midterm budget he would have dealt with this matter, but he came back to me, which I understand. He said, no, I need more time. I think by February we will be done with this, okay, and that we should be able to make an announcement on it. So this is a formal communication that I made yesterday. Because Treasury has got issues with the approach we suggested to them, because from their side they think that it is not possible, So we need to look at options, because people have withdrawn and they are not paying literally the e-tolls. That is why I said during the election campaign, the problem of Soweto is not e-tolls, it's electricity. Because the people of Soweto, in their majority, I'm talking about the working class, are not affected by e-tolls. Me and you, who constitute the middle strata and are driving up and down, we are affected by the e-tolls. And me and you have decided that we're not going to pay, except for me as a government minister.
So you're paying.
And you're not paying means that there is a debt, And if we scrap, what are the implications for the people who have been paying? Are we going to pay them back? So these are the things that we look at, so that when we announce, it's not a hurried decision, but all things have actually been considered. So we will then go to Cabinet, and then Cabinet will get our report with the Minister of Finance. Okay. And then probably when he presents his budget, we'll decide it deals with the matter or even before. And then we can brief the nation that what is the fate of the e-tolls.
Let me bring you in now as head of elections of the ANC. Was there a surprise by the ANC government when you lost the metros, the very important metros in the province of Gauteng? Was there some bad negotiation among those who you yourself called Casey and Jojo's?
No, Casey and Jojo really didn't come to the party, which is Mashaba, because Mashaba made it very clear from the onset that he doesn't want to talk to us. And we were puzzled as to who said we want to talk to him, because parties wait for the results and then decide. After the results, can I go with Mbalula A or B? And then on the basis of that, you form what we call grand coalitions or coalitions, and then a co-governance and a cooperation. So it was too early.
Did you expect this from the EFF, though?
Well, the EFF is not a shocker. The EFF president has made it very clear that he doesn't. He wants to destroy the ANC. So I don't know why he wasted his time with us. We thought we can strike a deal, because we and the EFF alone will secure the metros. We didn't even get to that discussion. And the biggest dilemma is basically the EFF is facing is to justify their ideological stance as to why, not the scapegoat and the flimsy reasons that President Ramaphosa and Zille had a secret deal. A political party can't take a decision on the basis of secret deals. Because if you look at the numbers and Johannesburg, it was very clear. If the EFF withdraws, and Malema calls this politics 101, I don't see 101 there. Because when the EFF withdraws from Johannesburg and doesn't vote, the ANC will go all the way and win against the DA. And then if Mashaba failed and he wants to become without any support from the DA or the EFF, the ANC will go through. It was as simple as that, and we knew that. And then when they decided that they call it off and that they are going to contest, They knew that they are giving their vote to the DA. But they are very firm on the issue of land. I like it. But they are not firm on their ideology, principle, that they portray to be. With ease, they give the DA their vote. But they will never go to Helen and say that we want land expropriation and so on. All what they are going to do is to try invasions, illegal invasions here in Johannesburg and all of that. But the DA will never agree with them on that. But the ANC can open a discussion with the EFF. But they've decided they don't want to talk to us, and it is their political choice that they don't want to talk to us. It's not about personalities. We tried our best to engage them. When we thought we were moving in a direction where we could find each other, because they put demands to us. And then we addressed those demands. And then they said, no, your response is vague and very broad. You don't commit. We said, okay, let's go back and look at the deadlines you have put, whether it is feasible, because we're government. We don't want to say to you in 12 months, we will have done ABC. Some of the things that they were demanding, for instance, the State Bank, we are moving ahead with that. Pharmaceutical, state pharmaceutical company, we are moving ahead with that. Land expropriation, we agree in principle with them, but we disagree in terms of land custodianship, that it must be to the state. They are talking nationalization of land, and that is not what we're talking about when we talk about land expropriation without compensation. So we differ with them on that. We're stuck on that, and we're discussing with them on that. So sanitary towels, student debt, those issues, if you are genuine, because those are their issues in terms of their manifesto. We said that let's set a team that will continuously engage and find each other. We could not even get to coalitions. The talks were called off.
Let me come in there, Minister. You know, when you talk about, for instance, your expropriation of land without compensation, student debt, etc., those who used to be ANC supporters and who used to vote for the ANC, for instance, decided 2016, 2019, and this time that they would rather stay at home or vote for somebody else. So it started there for the NC's troubles in terms of these elections started there before the coalition talks. You have about 2.5 years to 3 years to fix things. What are you going to do?
We have to convince society about our renewal. It's very important. We've got to implement that. It is very clear in this election, as much as this election to us was an ambush, because we needed more time, because people's anger and anxiety is huge. COVID-19, unemployment, perceptions of corruption, which is highly entrenched, electricity, water, and this is local government. When you talk to a person in the house for local government, you knock. And he says to you, you want me to go and vote for you, but I've not been having electricity for 3 years. You want me to go and vote and I don't have water. You want me to go and vote, but look at the sewage burst. Your people did not actually fix it. You want me to go and vote, but your councillor has never been to my house. What does the ANC have to fix in terms of renewal? Contact with the people and build trust with the people, not only because there is an election. You want me to go and vote today because you want me to go and vote, that's the only time you come to me. And then that is it. People love the ANC. And they told us straight in our faces, some of them. In my own township, where I went in Botshabelo, they came out and voted. In Mangaung, that is why we've got 50%. In Mangaung, we crossed without coalitions. They told me that
Do you not think the love is dying down now, Minister?
The love is not dying down. What our people are showing us is that fix things, we will vote for you. That's what they said. Fix things, we will vote for you. But you are not doing things, basic things, in the right way. Be the ANC that we know. That is fixing, that is caring about people. That is not only about itself.
Yeah. Minister, while I still have you here, there's a lot of concern, of course, the NCCC meeting today. At the risk of sounding like, Somizi, should I cancel my vacation? Should I go buy my alcohol today?
Yeah, by the way, the Somizi thing was...
it was resolved.
No, it's not resolved. He was doing jokes,
yes.
You see.
Yeah.
And then it simply coincided with the truth of what happened that night. We have NCCC. I'm not a spokesperson of government.
Can you advise me?
I'm a Minister of Health. I don't want... This is a very sensitive matter. People are boiling. They are lockdown fatigued. They are really fatigued. I'm also fatigued, lockdown fatigued. Some of the decisions we take in terms of lockdown and regulations is because we preserve lives. But our nation is lockdown fatigued, and I think it is proper that we have a meeting today at 3 o'clock, and then we'll hear from the scientists. But I think we can do things better going forward. But I'm not a spokesperson. Like I said, I don't want to mingle. I don't want to cause confusion. Government will speak with one voice.
But of course, as the Minister...
and the Minister of Health.
But of course, as a Minister of Transport, you're a custodian of businesses around transport, or rather even tourism, for instance. I'm sure you're going to try and, make government appease that sector at least to make sure that there's still money.
No, we look, don't be confused. That government, we are one. Our approach is guided by science. We are one. We are not confused. As you will have seen, how we handle COVID, there's no confusion. Minister of Health, and then the President. So that's how uniformity, collegiality, we are one. And we take reports from scientists who come to us and give us a report. This is what, we don't just make decisions. And of course, from my sector point of view and its interest, when we consider if there's got to be regulations, we look into that. And we have not taken unilateral decisions. I've spoken to the taxi industry all around. Every time decisions have got to be taken. You remember, you guys criticized me that I'm too lenient to them. But businesses were dying down, we had to do things like when you get into a taxi, open the window a little bit so that there is a wind, so that people must mask up. And when I told you about HEPA in the aeroplanes, and then I remember Ndlozi was making a joke about me and saying that Mbalula now is a doctor. He's telling us about HEPA. And all sorts of things we take into consideration with our different...
Very quickly, Minister, Umamko is in my ear. She's going to be very upset with me for taking so much time. But while I still have you here, there's people who are stuck, for instance, in South Africa and were supposed to leave because there are countries who have decided they don't want us. There's the travel ban from the UK, Canada now joining them, and other countries. This is going to have a devastating blow to the aviation industry. And, those who are supposed to go back home or come back home from wherever are meeting problems. Yeah,
that is why we're meeting.
Okay.
We know that this is havoc. I was talking to one of your journalists. I overheard her speaking, Heidi, that, I don't know, a family is going to Dubai and all of that. They are stuck here. So they've got to go via Kenya. There's a lot of confusion. Countries are just, deciding. But these countries, of course, it is their decisions and all of that. But we also need to look at ourselves when we handle matters of that nature. How do we go about them? They are important. That is the truth. There is a variant. But how do you go about it? And so that you prepare for it. And you prepare the nation over time. But I think we learn every day. out of this. So nations that have vaccinated have moved quick to close down. We are still struggling with getting people to vaccinate. And I think our regulations must also balance. If you are vaccinated, you must be rewarded.
Yes.
And then it must not be a blanket approach. So, because I've got a friend now, I heard that he's got COVID, but he has vaccinated. But that vaccination has cushioned him, you know, from any fatality whatsoever. So it's on the recovery quick and fast, just like that. Because it doesn't mean if you're vaccinated, you can't get COVID. You'll still get it. And that is why the issues of gatherings are managed. Look, we're going to a meeting, and I think I don't want to talk too much and be ahead of time. Government will reflect on all these implications. We get a very comprehensive report from the net joints. We'll get a very comprehensive report from the Department of Health, including the scientists. And then on the basis of that, we take discussion and decisions.
All right, Minister, thank you very much. I was going to ask you one more question, of course, about vaccines. The people who are vaccinated feeling as if this is unfair. We did adhere. We did support government saying that we must get vaccinated. And now there's this anxiety that we might have to also stay at home as if we don't do anything. At the same time, there's a certificate that is supposed to show that I'm vaccinated. So why am I not allowed to do what I want?
Of course, that is what we may want to look at. Vaccinate, and then let's open our own local tourism. Let's have fun in our country. Let's boost our own tourism.
All right.
If they close us out, let's do that. Let's go to Zimbabwe, Victor Falls. Let's go to Southern Africa, you know. But we need to manage information and so on. So let's do short left. That's what is going to happen right now. But how we do that short left, you must be rewarded with a certificate. I've got a certificate, then you can pass through. So all of us, let's get vaccinated. It's very important.
All right. Thank you very much, Minister of Transport.